because white people do lie. We have a history during our 400 years here in America of the lies of the white man. The white man who has set up a racist doctrine to establish his position of white supremacy all over the face of the planet Earth. And so, since Attorney Bryan has started off by saying that, let's look at his comments here, has started off by saying, I don't plan to use rhetoric, not here to argue the point, not competent to debate on matters of the Quran. I promise you I won't use the Quran. But he says he does not intend to argue the point, then he should not have put it in the Times-Picayune if he didn't want an argument. He says tonight he wants to base much of his argument, or all of his argument, on the Bible, on what he calls the Holy Bible. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teach us that holy means pure, unmixed, undiluted, and untampered with in any form. Now we need to see if the book that the lawyer here, the lying lawyer, the book that he is using is a pure book, an unmixed, undiluted, and untampered with book. And if you're going to use the Holy Bible, Attorney Bryan, which Holy Bible are you going to use? Are you going to use the Scofield version? Are you going to use the Phillips version? Are you going to use the Jewish version? Are you going to use the New World Translation, the Jerusalem Bible? Which Bible, the Catholic Bible? Which Bible are you going to use? That's the question here tonight. One Bible has 66 chapters in them, 66 books in the Bible. I don't want you to miss that. One Bible has 66 books in the Bible. Another Bible has 72 books in the Bible. Which Bible are you going to use here tonight to convince this audience of your argument? We've even got what is called the forgotten books of the Bible. We've even got what is called the lost books of the Bible. Hell, who lost it? And why did you lose it? That's the question here tonight. You're going to use the Bible. He wants to come from the second chapter of Timothy, the second Timothy, the third chapter, and the 16th verse. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. But let's take a look at that. Say that the first 5 books of the Bible are the first 5 books of Moses. Yet in the first 5 books of the Bible, Moses talks about his own funeral and his own death and burial. I ask the question, how could Moses know about his death, his funeral, and know all about the circumstances and details surrounding his burial? Let us look at the Revised Standard Version of the Bible. Are you with me? I intend to prove here tonight that Jesus of the Bible was and is a black African. I intend to prove here tonight that Attorney Bryan is a liar and the representative of a lying race of people who have lied to us for the past 400 years. Before we go to the Revised Standard Version, the King James Version. Now, James, according to history, was a sinner. James was a homosexual. James was switching all over Europe. James was in love with men in the kingdom that the women were in love with and had arguments and fights many times over the men in the kingdom. God does not name a holy book after a sinner. The very book of the Bible condemns homosexuality and fagging around. But James, who was the king of that time, yes, it's authorized by him because he was the king. I wonder, was James inspired of God? It says this is the Old and New Testament. translated out of the original tongue. Let's stop for a minute there. They tell you it was translated out of the original tongue. I'm here to tell you tonight from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan that you black man and you black woman, that you are the original man and the original woman. And so they are telling you that they translated out of your language, took it out of your tongue so that they could dupe you, so that they could fool you, so that they could trick you and have you bow down to a blonde hair, pale skin, buttermilk complexion, blue-eyed, peckerwood looking Jesus. This cracker is not Jesus. This is not Jesus. This is nothing but a stringy-haired, blue-eyed, green-eyed, sometimes straight-haired, buttermilk complexion white man. This is the white man, as the Bible says, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is the God, deceiving all of the nations. And so everything that is white is all right. He teaches us that angel food cake is white and devil food cake is black. He teaches us that we wear white to weddings and we wear black to funerals. He says if I know something on you, I blackmail you. If I want to put you out of the church, I blackball you. Ajax goes through the community cleaning like a white tornado. He says it's not good to lie, buddy. But if you must tell a lie, guy, it's all right. If you tell a little white lie, he says. We can't even go into the pool hall or the billiard room for a family game without racism staring us in the face, a shiny white ball on the table, knocking the hell out of the black, the brown, the red, and the yellow balls on the table, and the worst ball on the table is the black ball or the 8 ball. This is not Jesus. It's a peckerwood, a packer. He's not Jesus. And you should take him down from your wall. Take him down from your wall. Jesus is a black man. Well, the lying lawyer said, well, he came in here, punked it out. Well, I'm not here to so-and-so, and I didn't, we're not impressed by that. You didn't expect anybody to call you on it. That's why you put it in the Times-Picayune. But this is a new black man today and a new black woman today. He says one of his contentions is that Jesus is a Jew. Jesus is a Jew. Well, I don't have no problem with that, lawyer. Jesus was a Jew. But now the question is, were the Jews black like me, or were the Jews white like you? That's the question. Don't tell me nothing about Shamir and Begin and the rest of them over there in the illegitimate criminal settler colony that is called Israel today. These are not the true Jews. These are a strain of white people who have crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe and who have driven us from the centers of power in what they call the Middle East. For years, the white man lied to us and told us that Egypt was not even in Africa. Hell, we're looking at it right on the map. And this cracker told, that's what I said, told us that it was not in Africa. Egypt is indeed in Africa. And at one time, there was what was called the Kingdom of Egypt. At another time, there was what was called the Kingdom of Ethiopia. Now, we need to look at this. Egypt, according to the Greeks, represents a term in its etymological root, agathos, which means the land of the black. But the true name for Egypt in the hieroglyphics or the holy writings or the Medu Neter is Kemet. And Kemet means black. Ethiopia means the land of the black and the burnt skin people. Herodotus, his own white historian, told him that the Egyptians were a jet black people and that the Jews of that area were a jet black people. But now let's look at it even further than that. The area that is called the Middle East, listen to me, quiet as it's kept, ain't the Middle East at all. The area that is called the Middle East is really northeast Africa, separated from the mainland of Africa by a white man-made ditch called the Suez Canal. All of that represented the empire of Ethiopia at one time, or Egypt at one time. And they drove us from the centers of power, and all of those areas changed from black to brown to white. Now, as we look at this a little more carefully, we will find that at the beginning, all of the gods or deities were depicted as black. He mentioned Luke. He started off with Luke. We need to take a look at Luke and see what we can find on Luke. As regards the black Christ and virgin, Romain Rolland, a noted white French writer, says, why are the majority of the virgins that are revered in celebrated pilgrimages black? He goes on to talk about Switzerland, Zurich. He goes on to talk about Spain. He talks about Poland. He talks with other scholars and talks and speaks of Russia, of Italy, where all of the black Madonnas were just that. They were black, and they had a black baby in their arms. And you can go to this very day all over Europe and find a black Mary and a black Jesus. You saw the Pope in Life magazine bowing down and kneeling down, making his prayers in front of a black Mary and in a black Jesus in front of a black Jesus. The shrine of Chester College. Then you can go to Russia and find the same. All over Europe, white people believed in a black Mary and a black Jesus. Tradition says that it was St. Luke who knew personally the mother of Jesus Christ and carved with his own hand the majority of those black virgins, and they were spread all over Europe. Apollo was black. Did you know that the theater in New York City is named for a black god, Apollo? Zeus was black. Krishna means black. Buddha was black. All of the gods of the known black and white world were black until something very significant happened. One white man by the name of Pope Julius II. Pope Julius II commissioned an old, no good white man named Michelangelo. And Michelangelo, he didn't get his mama, but he got his uncle, his aunt, and his cousin, and his uncle and aunt's baby. In the Browder Files, we find this. He took his uncle to pose for Adam and painted the picture. He got his aunt to pose for Eve and painted the picture. He got his cousin to pose for Jesus and painted the picture, and took the baby of his uncle and aunt to pose for the baby Jesus. Now, wait a minute. Let's look at this thing a little further. The liar here says that Jesus was a Jew, and then he leaves it at that. I say he was a Jew, and that the true Jew is a black Jew. Josephus, the first century foremost historian among the so-called Jews. Josephus, the first century foremost scholar among the Jews. Let us see what a so-called Jewish historian has to say about Jesus himself. Now, the lawyer wasn't there, is that right? I wasn't there, is that right? But Josephus, the historian of the first century A.D., has this to say. He describes Jesus as a man of simple appearance, mature age, black skin, little hair, 4.5 to 5 feet tall, with a long face and an underdeveloped beard. He goes on to say that the early Christians, including Tertullian and St. Augustine, accepted this view as the proper description of Jesus. But now let's go a little further. In the book Messiah Christ by another so-called Jew. Since this thing seems to be all about Jews, that's the way you're going to try to duck out of this thing as to whether he was black or white. You're going to throw a curve and try to go Jew on him. In his book, The Messiah Christ, page 411, 421, and 442, a white man just like the lying lawyer. Reporting on Josephus, he said, of the first century Jewish historian, he says, the paintings of Jesus, after the church was allowed to come out into the open, and was not banned anymore, that the early church decided that it was offensive to the believing early Christians, white people, and their Hellenistic ideas. And so the image of Jesus, the white man, just like the lying lawyer is. R. Eisler, speaking on what the first century Jewish historian Josephus has told us, he said they felt that in having nappy hair, black skin, that this was offensive to the white church. And so they decided to make him 6 feet tall, well-groomed, Eisler says, handsome, venerable, have a beautiful mouth, a full, copious beard, and check this out, and blue eyes. Let's go a little further. Pijot, another white man, French white man, a white man like the lying lawyer here. In his book, The Research History of the Personality Jesus the Christ, page 2, 1829, he says nothing remains authentic of the exterior appearance of Christ. And he goes on to say how the church, the white folk of that era, changed all of the pictures upon the turn of that particular period and era with Michelangelo coming on the scene, that nothing remains authentic of the exterior appearance of Jesus. Jesus, whenever he was depicted, he was jet black. He was a blue black man. The Bible in the book of Revelation, I don't know if Attorney Bryant has read it or not, and in the book of Daniel says that Jesus would be a man with hair like lamb's wool. That nappy stuff. You know how yours used to be nappy before you got your scary picture. How yours used to be nappy before you got your temporary permanent and fried it and dyed it and laid it to the side. Revelation says, and Daniel says, he would have hair like lamb's wool. His feet would be like pure brass or fine brass, as though it had been burnt in an oven. Revelation teaches us, and Daniel teaches us, that Jesus would be a black man. His mother would be black. According to the white scholars that we have cited, his mother was black and Jesus was black. We don't argue over him being a Jew. We just know that the Jew that's over there in Israel, as they call it today, is not the true Jew. That the true Hebrew, the true Jew, is a black Jew. Let's look at it a little further. It said he would have feet as though it had been burned in an oven. It would be like bronze or fine brass as though it had been burnt in an oven. Looks like this fella got black feet. Looks like he got black feet to you. Looks like he's been burned in an oven. I'm sorry to tell you, Attorney Brian, but we can't go for the hype anymore. We don't believe the hype. Then they give us a picture with 13 crackers sitting at the table. Take these checkerboards off of your wall. 13 white folks sitting at the table. God is no respecter of persons. Where's the Chinese at the table? Where's the Japanese at the table? Where's the black African at the table? Where's the woman at the table? No wonder you're hungry in New Orleans. You can see we didn't get nothing to eat that day. If we were there at all, we must have been in the kitchen. I'm sorry, we cannot accept it. Then you want to give us an angel with the white Colonel Sanders Kentucky Fried Chicken wings and make us think some flying white woman is going to come and change our conditions and do something for us. I'm sorry, we cannot accept it. Some of the pictures he had blonde hair. Some of the pictures he had red hair. Some of the pictures he had brown hair. On some of the pictures he had black hair. On some of the pictures he had green eyes, hazel eyes, brown eyes, blue eyes. So the real Jesus, please stand up. Revelations and Daniel, hair like lamb's wool. Nappy hair, that good hair. Give me a black woman with that good hair. I ain't got no jungle fever. Give me a black woman with that nappy hair so I can run my fingers and get them tangled up in that nappy stuff. I don't want that straight stringy stuff. No, sir, we can't accept it. There's so many Bibles up here, I don't know which way to go. But what I want to do is go back to this Revised Standard Version. King James translated it out of the original tongue and diligently compared and revised it. Well, what nerve of this white man to revise God's Word? The Jesus of the Holy Bible was a black man. But we don't have the Holy Bible anymore. The white man has tampered with the Bible. He has changed the Bible. But there is truth in the Bible, and the Bible can be a roadmap to our liberation and salvation if we can get past the parables, the symbols, the metaphors, and the similes that this cracker has added to the Bible. But the Bible says, how can we get past that unless we receive a teacher? How can we receive a teacher unless that teacher is sent to us? Somebody would have to guide us through the book. Somebody would have to come to us and take us through the snares and the pitfalls that the white man would have added to the book so that he could deceive the very elect and chosen people of God, the black man and black woman in the last days of this world that is going out, and a new world order to be established called the kingdom of God that is to be established here on this earth. I will prove to you conclusively that the white man is a liar, and even though he said that he is not a racist, it was a racist tendency and propensity that forced him when he heard about Archbishop George Augustus Stalin, when he heard about Bishop-elect here, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came to the city of New Orleans and made it new for black people, and 9,000 black people came out to hear this mighty man from God. He was so enraged by this. He went to his typewriter. He was driven by the rage in him to write this racist article. Let me read what the cracker wrote. No good bastard. Bastard is not cursing. Bastard is an illegitimate child. And the white man is an illegitimate child in the family of God Almighty. He's the number one murderer, the number one liar, the number one enslaver and colonizer. Time-picayune. Let's look at it. Jesus not of African origin. Jesus was not black, racially a Negro, nor was he of African origin. Would you please bring that blackboard out so I can write on it with some white chalk? He said the very contrary is taught by the Imani temple. According to your August 18th article, such teaching is entirely error. It evidently is based on Imani's equally incorrect Bible study, which cites no supporting passage and a fallacious conclusion from the fact that Jesus was a Semitic person. Now let's stop for a minute and deal with this curse of Ham. He hooks us up in the article in his letter to the editor with being Ham's children and that we have been cursed. It's the same argument that the no-good cracker uses down in South Africa to oppress our people in South Africa. It's the same argument that David Duke and the rest of the crazy crackers of the Ku Klux Klan and the others who are in the White House. You should have known it was for white folks. They named it the White House. It's the same argument that they use from the scripture, that you are the descendants of Ham, and you have been cursed because you are a descendant of Ham. You and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the premier leader of the black movement and the liberation and salvation of the black nation. Let's look at it. Thank you, ma'am. Let's look at it and look at it very carefully here. I want to hold that point and get back into this Revised Standard Version that I keep using as a cock hammer here. I'm going to go on and pull the trigger. The preface, the preface to the Revised Standard Version Bible. Let's listen to it. You ready? The King James Version has, with good reason, been termed the noblest monument of English prose. Its revisers in 1881 expressed admiration for its simplicity, its dignity, its power, its happy turns of expression, the music of its cadences, and the felicities of its rhythm. It enters as no other book has into the making of the personal character and the public institutions of the English-speaking people. We owe to it an incalculable debt. Yet, the King James Version has grave defects. By the middle of the 19th century, the development of biblical studies and the discovery of many manuscripts were more ancient than those upon which the King James Version was based, made it manifest that these defects in the King James Bible are so many and so serious. So what? So many and so serious as to call for revision of the English translation. The white scholars go on to say that there are over 100,000 contradictions in the Old Testament alone. And white scholars and theologians just recently met a few months ago, and they determined that over 70% of the New Testament that is attributed to Jesus, that Jesus didn't even say. Let's look at some of the contradictions. There's one right there. Second Chronicles, the 36th chapter, in the 9th verse. Jehoiakim, the king of Jerusalem, was 8 years old when he began to reign in Jerusalem. How old was he? 2 Kings 24 and 8. Jehoiakim, the king of Jerusalem, was 18 years old when he began to reign in Jerusalem. Was he 8 or was he 18? Second Chronicles 22 and 2. 42 years old was Isaiah when he began to reign. 2 Kings 8 and 26. 2 and 20 years old was Isaiah when he began to reign. Was he 42 or was he 22? Let's go on a little further. God is seen and heard, and I will take away mine hand, and thou shalt see my back part. Exodus 33 and 22. And the Lord spoke unto Moses face to face. I can speak to him face to face as a man speaketh unto his friend. Exodus 33 and 11. And the Lord called unto Adam and said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid. Genesis 3, 9 through 10. For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Genesis the 32nd chapter and the 30th verse. In the year of King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up. Isaiah the 6th chapter and the 1st verse. Now let's see what the rest of the Bible got to say. Since he's facing his argument on a Bible that's an infallible book, on a book that has been inspired by the men of God, and that God would not let anything happen to the book, and that the white man is not so slick and so quick that he wouldn't even try to fool God. Let's see. All of these scriptures say God can be seen and that he can be heard. Let's see. No man has seen God at any time. John 1 and 18. You have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape. John 5 and 37. And he said, Thou shalt not see my face, for there shall be no man see me and live. Exodus 33 and 20. Whom no man has seen, nor can see. 1 Timothy 6 and 16. Those are serious contradictions here to me. Professor Churchward, in his work Origin and Evolution of Religion, and St. Augustine, we'll touch St. Augustine first. Professor Churchward, in Origin and Evolution of Religion, holds that the African pygmies and the Negroes were the real originators of the Christian religion. J.A. Rogers also tells Professor J.A. Rogers in Sex and Race. St. Augustine himself says, what is now called the Christian religion has existed among the ancients long before and was not absent from the beginning of the human race until Christ came into flesh, from which time the true religion, which existed already begun, became known as Christianity. Let's go through a few others here. Count C.F. Bowlby, another white man, in his book, Ruins of Empire, wrote, all religions originated in Africa. Professor Preston, the famous Egyptologist, maintains that the Ethiopians are the first to give religious thought and aspiration to the world. The Ten Commandments come from the 147 declarations of innocence of Ma'at, called the 147 negative confessions. I have not committed sin. I have not coveted my neighbor's wife. I have not killed. I have not stolen. They took them from there. He spoke of Genesis. You can find the Genesis story of the Bible dating 10,000 years before the Genesis story of the Bible in the holy city of Abydos, on the walls in the hieroglyphics of the Metuneta, in the sacred temple of Tepewan in northeast Africa today. You can find the Ten Commandments there among the 147 in the hieroglyphics of ancient Africa or ancient Egypt. This cracker didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and he didn't know what he was walking into. Professor Samaritan and a Jew. Says the world's first religious principles were substantiated, and they all, the moral forces and principles, come out of Africa. Sir Godfrey Higgins, Sir James Fraser, Albert Churchward, Gerald Massey, his book of the beginning, two volumes, 1930, Egypt, the light of the world. As we go on to look at Professor George G.M. James, Professor John G. Jackson, Dr. John Henry Clark, as we look at all of them, Anacalypsis, the Golden Bough, Origin and Evolution of Religion, all of them say that Jesus was a black man and was always depicted as a black baby with a black mother, coming from Isis or Set in ancient Africa, and her baby, Horus or Heru. All of this comes from you, black man and woman. All of these Bibles, I really didn't know which one, because when you got a Bible that's got missing books, and I don't know how he could say it was inspired. They met at the Council of Jamnia, and they met at the Nicene Conference. They held a series of Nicene conferences, and at those conferences they decided that Jesus would be white, he would be tall, he would have blonde hair and blue eyes, because the white man does not want to say in his secret circle that Jesus, the Son of God, is a black man from among us. They preach all of this. Jesus is coming back. I want you out there in radio land to draw near your radio. Jesus is coming back. If Oral Roberts was standing at the pulpit, if old no good Jimmy Swaggart was standing there, if what's his name, Billy Graham, or if the man over the immoral majority, Falwell down in Lynchburg, Virginia. If Jesus walked into the church and said, I'm black and I'm black, church would be out that day. I'm black and I'm black, church would be out that day. The church, the white man's church, the white man's church sanctions slavery. The Catholic Church owns slavery. The empire was built on the back of your and my forefathers and mothers. He wonders why we have no respect for the red, the white, and the blue. It's because George Washington owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. They stole their own babies that they had, raping our great-great-grandmothers. They sold them into slavery for a keg of molasses and syrup. Why does this cracker wonder why we laugh when he sits at a table, the red, the white, and the blue? Oh, I'm so thankful to God for this white man right here to give you an opportunity tonight to explore a question that we should have explored a long time ago. He's a daredevil, and we needed a daredevil to come out front. The rest of the devils are sneaking and hiding somewhere in the audience. Read Kersey Graves, the world's 16 crucified saints. White man. Black man has given us this. White man has given us this. So we'll have it in black and white. The world's 16 crucified saints. Right. Thousands of years before ever there was a mention of a name Jesus. Right. All over Africa and the world, right, you could find a crucified saint. Right. You could find a baby, black baby, in the history of that people who was born of a virgin, who was dead, resurrected, and exalted. Osiris or Osar, resurrected in ancient Africa, thousands of years before there was ever any story of Jesus. His name was not Jesus. He was not Jesus as a Greek name. He was not Greek. His mother was not Greek. His daddy was not Greek. He was not born in Greece. He did not live in Greece. And what you call Bethlehem, let me put it on the board quickly. Bethlehem. He says in his article that Ham comes from the Hebrew root Haman, which means black. They had no vowels, A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y and W. You had to guess when they put these manuscripts together and these books called Bibles together. They made many errors and even lied because they knew it couldn't be detected. But that means the house of God. Beth and Bethel. Ham, he said, comes from the Hebrew root Haman, which means black. So if your Jesus was not born in a cave in Ethiopia, if he was born in Bethlehem, Bethlehem means the house, by your own admission, the house of the black God. That's the king. We got so many scholars. So many scholars here. Dr. Maulana Karenga, Dr. Tamari Bridges, Dr. Richard King, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Dr. Francis Welsing, Dr. James Paul. We got Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, Dr. Asa Hilliard. I mean, the list goes on and on. Dr. Fitz, Dr. Coper. The list goes, Dr. Hare, Dr. Noble, Dr. Clark. And the white scholars, the many of them, I gave you the white ones first. I only mentioned the black ones in passing so that you again would have it in black and white. I have proven to you that Jesus, yes, was a Jew, but that the original Jews or the original Hebrews, let us go to Sigmund Freud in his book Moses and Monotheism, who teaches us of the blackness of Moses. Let us also go to Abraham, the original Jew, grew up in Ur, a city in Chaldea. Genesis, 11th chapter, the 27th through the 29th verse, on Mesopotamia, which was east of Palestine. The ancient inhabitants were the Sumerians, who, just like the